reincarnated as John the Baptist. Jesus was a Christian.
A friend. Everybody, man, you guys start clapping now. It's Ramsey Moore. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
My name is Buddha, and I'm about to spiritually enlighten the world one person at a time. The meditation class is my chance to enlighten people in groups. I like to guide them on a journey, the one that I was began through my day. In the process of this, I relieve myself of any worldly or ethereal baggage. Flash girl, if you could arch your back just a moment. Thank you. Sometimes I like to experience sexual gratification during the course of the guided meditation. The students are not affected or alarmed by this. They're rather comfortable with this, but please don't tell them.
I wanna be Boo.
By easy, I mean 2 sumo wrestlers waiting for them on the other side.
Just knocking the fucking.
You just have to finish updating this important document. Oh my God, an elephant just stole my computer.
Hi. Just hanging out, just thinking to meet people.
Lucky you. You met me.
Amiga.
Listen up, California. We have tolerated you being disrespectful to our land and to our food. But one thing you will not disrespect is our weed. Change the law, or Flacco will come looking for you. And when Flacco finds you, he's going to grill you until you're dead.
They called him Flacco.
This weed. If you're not stoned, the zombies are gonna try to eat your car. I'm not smoking weed. I don't know what these zombies helping people do. Well, that's because there is no law. You make me smoke weed, I'm gonna put my cock in your mouth. Don't let it smoke. Don't let it smoke.
Hey boys, who wants some pancakes and blowjobs?
Pancakes and blowjobs. That's awesome.
Tamales at a quinceanera. I'm just a little concerned about our running game. LT looks like he don't want to hold on to the ball. Like that's another illegitimate baby he's trying to deny its existence.
I believe that the world is a great place. And people are wonderful. And life is precious. You should spend every day trying to make the lives of others great. And in doing so, you'll make your own great. God, I love my shitty life. It's not perfect, it's not great, but it's mine. And I do things that are other people don't do. But that's what makes me me. So, whatever you do that other people don't do, go out and do it and try to make the world a better place. Because in the end, that's all we have. Put your love out there in the world. it'll come back sooner or later. And if it doesn't, well, then that was your gift. That was your buy-in. But look at all this. Look at it all. Look how beautiful. I brought it out.
I'm Brandon. I'm one of Ramsey's best friends, and Ramsey and I, we made a baby together. We did. It was very hungry and had a cocaine problem. No, actually, we made a film together. That's how Ramsey and I connected. A long time coming. It's called the Lenny Bruce Experiment. The cool thing is we had a sort of an Andy Kaufman mindfuck thing going on behind it, and really it was his baby. It's his tour de force performance, and he wrote the thing, and it's amazing. 95% of the people involved in the film thought we were making a pretentious documentary on freedom of speech, but really we were making the most fucked up horror movie of all time. So all the performances are real, and right from the trailer, we're about to play the trailer for the film. It's not what the film is at all, but Ramsey wrote this, and so it's great to see him on screen, but these are his words. So without further ado, here's the trailer for his final tour de force film, The Lenny Bruce Experiment. We are born free as children. Love, run, play, sing, dance, explore the world and be happy. And we learn that there are rules. Don't be independent. Don't think for yourself. Don't question the church. Don't question the police. Don't question corporations. Don't question the government. Don't be different. Don't love anybody. Don't judge anybody. Don't need anybody. Don't be a sexual being. Don't have any sexual thoughts. Don't look to the stars. Don't see the world as it is. Don't look too deep. Don't point at hypocrisy. Don't say obvious things. Don't talk about real life. Don't admit to being a deviant. Don't be original. Don't be human. Lenny Bruce changed the face of comedy. Lenny Bruce was the first comic to talk about his real life on stage. Lenny Bruce was the first to openly talk about sex on stage. Lenny Bruce was the first to honestly talk about drugs on stage. Lenny was the first to be real. Lenny was groundbreaking. Lenny was dangerous. Lenny was arrested for murder. Lenny Bruce was only on network TV 6 times. Carrot Top has been on network television over 1,000 times. Lenny Bruce was English rock star comic. Lenny Bruce was the brother Bob Dylan never had. Lenny was arrested 8 times for obscenity. Lenny Bruce appealed his case all the way to the Supreme Court and won. Lenny received the only posthumous part in the history of New York State. Lenny Bruce was set to headline the greatest underground comedy show ever, called the Sunshine Express. August 1st, 1966, Lenny Bruce died of a heroin overdose before.
Yes, it was.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Allison Moore.
Everybody, first let me start this off by, I'm not a pro. I'm not used to being behind a microphone. I was not the star in my family. Someone said to me earlier, I can get up here and stand up here and say as much as I want for as long as I want. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I was particularly blessed with knowing Ramsey longer than each and every one of you. Ramsey was 2 years younger than me. He was, in some ways, perhaps the most perfect man I've ever had in my life. And I will miss him every moment of every day for the rest of my life. I know that he reached out and he touched a number of people in a lot of different ways. He's been there as support, he's been there as the ear, he's been there as whatever capacity he might have had in your life. Okay. He was a really remarkable man on every level. And his family misses him tremendously. But then you have to define what's the word family. Okay? And I look around, and this is not a community I'm really familiar with at all. Okay? But you are a community. And in the discussions with Ramsey, and I spoke with him the night before he died, he said to me that the one thing that he really wished was that he wished that one of his immediate family was there with him. I had no idea what was to come the next morning. And I said to him, like the last time I had been here before, when he was in a medical crisis, I said, Ramsey, do you need me to come out there now? And he said, no, if I had all the money in the world, and isn't it funny how important money is to quality of life, then of course I would bring you out here. But I realized after I talked to Randall, or got the call from Randall, that even if I had been on that flight, I wouldn't have been on time. Okay. But as his sister, who loved him with every fiber of my being, I want to thank everybody here from the bottom of my heart for being part of his community and part of his life. And no matter how much he may have enriched your lives, you enriched his just as much, if not more. And trust me, I heard that. So, if I haven't met you in person, I probably already know a little bit about you. Okay? Or at least I hope I do. And if I know a lot about you, then I really want you to come up and say hi and point out, because I'd like to put together the faces and the people and the humans in his community that I've heard about for years and years and years. Okay? So, with that being said, I think I've taken long enough. Know that we love you. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being here. Okay? Because I gotta tell you, at 10 of 7, I was a little worried. But now I'm glad that they had to push back the curtains and open all of the space.
It's a tardy community.
It's LA. I'm East Coast. Okay? Now, so that's the serious, that's the sad, that's the heart. Okay. Now I'm waiting for the people to start ragging on my brother. And with that, I'm going to introduce Adam Hunter.
Thank you. That is impossible to follow. I finally get a spot at the Improv. I gotta follow Ramsey's sister at a tribute. Fucking awesome. I think this is the most people that ever showed up for a Ramsey show, by the way. Just so you guys know. It's good to be here. I don't even know what this is. Is this a tribute, a fucking comedy show? Wayne just said talk. But then I'm like, I really have no idea what is going on right now. But then I'm like, you know what? That's exactly how Ramsey would have wanted it. Because Ramsey was a guy who loved clusterfucks. That's what we have. I wrote some things about Ramsey that I wanted to talk about. You know, Ramsey was the most confident 500-pound guy I ever met in my entire life. Most people who are obese, they eat because they're depressed. Ramsey ate because he was hungry. And you know, the thing about Ramsey is that he refused to let Hollywood put him in a box because he couldn't fit in one. No, he wanted to be a leading man. Ramsey wanted to be a leading man, and he used to make these videos where he would hook up with the hottest chicks in the fucking videos, and make no mention that he was a 500-pound guy, because that's how Ramsey saw himself. And I loved him for it. You couldn't help but love Ramsey for that, you know. He was, that's why he had such a great sense of humor. A lot of people ask me how to Ramsey tie, and I say anorexia. Because I know that somewhere he's laughing at that. He was such a good friend. And Ramsey always had these crazy fucking stories. Like, I don't know if you know. He told me one time, a couple of them. But my roommate was Dave Levin, who I don't know if you guys know was one of Ramsey's best friends. And we were away, and Ramsey had a girlfriend who had become a lesbian. His ex-girlfriend had become a lesbian, and she wanted to have a threesome with Ramsey. But in the threesome, he agreed to have a vibrator stuck up his butt. That was part of the rule. Which he agreed to. He's like, sure, I will do that. Now during that time, it got lost. The vibrator had gotten lost up his butt. And I remember coming back, and we didn't know if the vibrator was underneath Dave's bed somewhere, wedged, or still up his ass. And then there was another time where Ramsey, I had to try to convince him to not go to the prom with a girl. Because she was 18 and he was 45. Now, Ramsey met the girl's father, who didn't speak English, and the guy started crying. Yeah, that's a total true story. The guy started crying, but the girl then ran away from the house, and Ramsey was such a likable guy, he became friends with the father after that. And they remained good friends for years. Because he just wanted to be around Ramsey. I know Ramsey for years, and he's a hardworking guy. But his job has always had an asterisk to it. Like, when I met him, he was a parking lot attendant. But he charged money, but it was a free parking lot. And then he was working at some newspaper where he was selling ad space to transvestite hookers at one point. And then the last job, he actually had a legitimate job selling real estate, even though he was the biggest piece of real estate in Los Angeles. I loved Ramsey. There was so many stories. We actually had thing about Ramsey though, I must say that he had such a big heart. He was such a loving guy, and he could talk to you about anything, and he would. And he was such. Even though he's gone, I feel like he's not gone because that's Ramsey, you know? He's the kind of guy, if I wouldn't talk to him for 5 months, 6 months, didn't matter. He picked up right when you went off, right where you left off. And I remember Adam was a friend of mine from Barstow, and Ramsey would call you up at 4 o'clock in the morning to just talk, which is too weird for two grown men to fucking talk at 4 o'clock in the morning. But that was Ramsey. He would talk to anybody. He never judged anybody. I had a show called Kamikaze Comedy, where we did comedy where people weren't expecting it. And here's a scene I wanted to show. Should we show it, Brandon? Yeah. It's a scene where Ramsey and Brad Williams are they're gay porn stars, and round of applause. Okay, here's the deal. We put an ad for open casting for an adult porn film. Okay, we got all these porn stars outside waiting to audition for a porn film. The old pizza guys here thing. Yes. However, they're not going to audition with porn stars. They're auditioning with comics, trying out the material.
But they're still going to get some sausage.
Jeremy, everyone.
Hey, how are you, Jeremy? Adam, the director. You got a seat, Jeremy? No, one second.
We're a team. I know it's like it's a lot easier to start off in the industry when you start off with something you care about like this.
Well, it's a basic scene. If you watch the reports, alright? Yeah. So what I need you to do is, I need you to walk up to the scene, hold a pizza, right? And you have a huge crush on Now and Later. Okay, you know that Now and Later are the hottest couple. They're a great house, you don't get a big couple, and there's nothing more that you want to do than hook up with Now and Later.
It's like you've seen this at the clubs and when we go out clubbing and we're wearing our club gear and we're dancing and stuff, like the guys just gather around, you know. So like imagine you've seen this at the clubs a number of times and you're like, I always want to hook up with those guys. And they seem like a lot of fun, you know.
Yeah, these guys are like, this is like Matt Damon right now.
Right. And the finish where we are kind of Damon now.
So we have a scene where you come and hold the pizza, put it down, and Now and Later, and I would like you to consider us both. What? I would like you to consider us both Now and Later. You're a bottle? What's that?
No, I'm top.
You're top or you're
Oh, top? Are you versatile?
No.
No.
Okay, well, don't worry, because these guys are a lot of you see their work. I mean, they've had Mandingo, and it's been...
Mandingo is a pleasure. He's very funny, too.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Okay, so...
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Walk out.
Oh, because you want the light. What's the problem? What happened?
He won't be having any of this now or later.
So tonight we got a bunch of amazing comedians performing, talking about Ramsey, doing their act. It's kind of anything goes here. We're here to honor Ramsey. Our first comic of the night, one of my best friends. We toured the Middle East together. Great guy, one of Ramsey's best friends. Give it up for Mike Circle. Let him know.
Yes!
Yeah, guys, one more time, Adam Hunter. It's not easy. But, I mean, Adam was one of the few guys. He called me up literally. You know, Ramsey passed on a Monday. I think Adam called me up Tuesday evening. He's like, Mike, I don't know why, but I just got a bunch of Ramsey jokes I've been writing. You know, R.I.P. Rest in Pizza. That was one of his. I don't know why he didn't do it just now, but that was just Adam. And you know, and Adam, I have to say, Adam is the guy that brought us all together. So it's fitting that he is hosting all this. And he's true. Ramsey is the guy that would do anything and everything with anybody. Like I remember when we were just sitting, getting stoned for the 10,000th time together. And we were, looking at Redboxes, and of course, one of my stoned ideas is, hey man, what if we became unsolicited Redbox reviewers? And sure enough, we wrote a theme song, we put on a couple of suits, and just walked the 30 feet to the Redbox around the corner from Ramsey's house. And we made YouTube magic, so. We just now passed our 50th viewers, so if you want to check it out. I know. Anybody can, have 10,000 views and all that, millions of views, but not us. We didn't want that.
Not us.
We wanted the hardcore fans of unsolicited Redbox reviewing. So we were going to follow it up with season 2, where Ramsey and I actually show up at your house and give you suggestions on Netflix. So it was, we couldn't work it out legally, so we never put it together. So maybe and his memory if we got some money. If anybody's out there wants to fund that. So I wrote some stuff. This is a great show. This is a great show. Ramsey would have really loved to be here because we literally did hundreds of shitty shows together in Barstow. There's nothing like driving 6 hours into the desert to entertain 3 people and Adam Hoyle and his family, but they were always happy to have us. But they didn't give us any damn pizza, those motherfuckers. 6 hours in the desert, no fucking pizza, all right? No, we didn't get pizza. See, they still think we got pizza. Still to this day, you think, you know, too bad Ramsey's not here. He would tell us if we didn't get pizza. So, you know, I love being here at the Improv myself. I only get booked at the Improv when a good friend of mine passes away. I just signed Adam up for Paul Walker's defensive driving class. Brandon approved that one. I called, I go, dude, I wanted to do Be Swine. I was supposed to go after Be Swine. It would have made more sense if I went after Be Swine. But again, this is a Ramsey show, so it makes sense. Nothing makes sense. Listen, I love them. You know, I have an older brother, and you know, Ramsey. You know, I don't know if he was my older brother, my younger brother, because he had a little Benjamin Button thing going on. Because when we met, I'm sure he was 35. 8 years later, he became 21. So if we would have stuck around, we'd be all at his bar mitzvah right now. And then he would have turned Jewish somewhere on the way. Yes, I know he wasn't Jewish. He wanted to be. He always talked about it. He always knew that he would have booked, you know, 5 more times on Kimmel if he was Jewish. He said that Ramsey was always there for you, though. I'm sure everybody in this room has a story about Ramsey being there for you. And one of my lowest points I can remember being out here knowing Ramsey is when the Jets lost the AFC Championship for the 2nd time in a row after beating the New England Patriots. In New England, all right, forget it. We're not going to relive football from 4 years ago. But I was a broken man. I'm still not over it, obviously. I was crying in my girlfriend's lap. She's right over here. I was crying in my girlfriend's lap. And there was Ramsey sitting right next to us, telling me everything would be okay as he ate Doritos. And that's the other thing. Ramsey was always a great house guest. I'm sure everybody has stories of their Ramsey showing up at your house and then never leaving. That was the thing. He just, you know, he just didn't have, you know, as great as he was socially, he just never had that thing about, you know, it's time to go. Something clicked off. Maybe Allison could explain it to us. Maybe in where, you know, Georgia or Florida, wherever they had sleepovers, they just never ended. You know, when he was a little kid, so he just didn't know how to exit. So we always, Antoinette, my girlfriend, we always had an exit strategy as to, no, Ramsey, we gotta go feed the hungry, dude. We gotta, no, I'll come with you. No. I mean, did I say feed the hungry? We're gonna go shovel snow. But listen, I'm happy to see so many people here, and you know, there's gonna be other people coming up here and, you know, telling some more, you know, stories about Ramsey, but you know, I feel like a better person. I'm sure all of you feel like a better person for knowing him. So, you know, rest in peace. I love you, buddy.
That is the most laughs you ever got on stage. Just so you know. If I were you, I would ditch your entire act and talk about Ramsey. This next comedian, we have 2 comedians for the price of 1. This next comedian.
You know, one of the awesome things about being friends with Ramsey is all the cool people you meet through Ramsey that you never would have met any other way. And, you know, you really connect to him, and it's all kinds of different people. Like, Ramsey never, like, was too selective. And especially this time that Ramsey, this is one of his favorite stories about us, is he introduced me to a porn star named Cannibal. And I have Sammy help me with this.
So, Sweden, this is my friend Cannibal. She's done over 200 adult movies, and everybody she blows tells her how funny she is. So, can you get her on stage?
So we had a business meeting with Cannibal. We had the business meeting at the strip club. And Cannibal was rubbing up and down on me, making me feel uncomfortable. So I told Ramsey, Cannibal is making me feel uncomfortable.
So Cannibal, how can you make my innocent friend Swine feel so uncomfortable? This is a professional business meeting about your comedy career. And she said, well, I thought you wanted me because you ripped this dick out on me the other night. So I said, how dare you say such things about my friend Swine? He's innocent. He would never do these types of things. Never. So I called Swine up and I said, well, she said she thinks you want her because you ripped your dick out on her the other night. Did you do that, Swine?
Yeah, I did that.
Fucking Swine!
Swine, I'm shocked! But it's okay, Swine, because you know what? Her blowjobs are better than her jokes anyway. Hey, let's go to Baby Blues and get some ribs.
Yeah!
Samantha Larson, ladies and gentlemen. Good Ramsey impression. It is kind of awkward doing blowjob jokes at a memorial, but you know, that's what Ramsey wants. So, but yeah, I wanted to just, I mean, I know it's been funny and everything, but you know, I wrote this thing and I posted on Facebook, and I just kind of wanted to, you know, read it out loud. So it's here's my ode to Ramsey, which I feel he is owed. He'd call me and say, how are the ladies treating you, swine? I miss my friend. You had me laughing out loud in my seat when you did your Susan Boyle impression. I miss my friend. We acted together in a movie, a TV pilot, and countless sketches. I miss my friend. Your nickname was Buddha because you had words of wisdom and held amazing conversations. I miss my friend. We traveled town to town doing comedy shows, and in those towns we were stars for a night. I miss my friend. We were always making big plans for the future and trying to figure out life, but in the end you never figured out, and that's the beauty. I miss my friend. There was always room for you on the Comedy Store show. I miss my friend. At the barbecue I would eat as much as you. I miss my friend. You introduced me on stage at the Improv, and you got the entire crowd to chant swine, swine, swine. I miss my friends. We had ups and downs, heartbreaks and recoveries, but we were always there for each other. I miss my friend. I know not what's on the other side of the curtain, but if there's more than flesh, when my time comes to open the curtain, I hope to see you there, happy and healthy, because I miss my friend. So anyways, you know, and one thing I really learned a lot from Ramsey is the importance of your breath. You know, because that was like, you know, it was just how, you know, important it was in a lot of ways, you know, and it's tough because, you know, I was talking to Adam yesterday on the phone, and, you know, he said that Ramsey had told him that, you know, he felt the only way he would get a roast is if he became super famous or he died. And so it kind of sucks that it's this way it is today. But for the rest of the comics, you know, that hit the stage, you know, roast him good.
Of the bar. And this dog was very friendly, and he came up to me and he gave me a hug, and then Ramsey comes over, the dog goes like this to give Ramsey a hug. And I thought that was the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And the last porn star story about Ramsey is I remember him telling me that Lynn LeMay gave him a blowjob at the knitting factory. So he told me this for years, and Ramsey's I would say 70% of the stories are true, which is really hard to figure out which ones were the fucking true ones, right? So we met Lynn LeMay in person, and I go, Lynn, this is Ramsey. Figure they knew each other, and she goes, oh, nice to meet you. So I said, either he's lying or this girl sucked that much cock, or she doesn't remember fucking blowing a 500-pound dude. But we are honored to have this next comedian. He's one of the funniest dudes in the world. We toured together all the time. We did the Vivid Video comedy tour. We did a tour for the troops. He's been on every TV show. Please give it up for Sam Tripoli. Let him know, Sam Tripoli.
Give it up for Adam Hunter, man.
Give it up. Man, give it up for everybody you saw here tonight, man. How funny is comedy, man? It's like we're doing a memorial and we're wondering if we brought enough people to fucking open the fucking curtains. Does it never stop? Does it ever? Am I always gonna have to worry about whether I got enough people to come to have a fucking memorial? In death, I'm still worried if people got my MySpace invite. You know what I'm saying? What? How fucking weird is fucking that? God, oh man, thank you everybody for coming out to Ramsey Moore's. Ramsey Moore's Friends and Family. You guys have the same vibe as the Insane Clown Posse. Anyone ever told you that? You're a very fucking weird, fuckable group. I gotta be honest with you. Ramsey Moore, man, I'll tell you something about Ramsey. I'm not, they're like 10 minutes, I'm like, Jesus. I'll tell you something about Ramsey, and the thing that is so true about Ramsey is that Ramsey was one of the very few honest people in this town. You know what I'm saying? Like, he never lied. It was like this weird thing about him where you knew he was always talking truth. And that was very refreshing, man. He's very honest with everything going on in his life. And you know, it's just like the amount of people here is such an amazing thing because it just really is the you know, power of attraction, man. He was a great guy. And I have some regrets when it comes to Ramsey. Like, I really wish I could have done coke off those sweet tits. Anybody else? I just wanted rails of blow off those big, fat, gorgeous tits of his, right? Because those tits started from way in the back, and I could have done so much cocaine off them, right? Nobody's with me out here tonight? That's a girl who loves anal right there. That actor says she loves butt fucking. Anybody? No point she say no, she's just laughing. But that's a Ramsey bitch right there, right? That's a chick Ramsey could fuck right there. Hot and lost, that's what I'm into, right? Hot and fucking lost, those are my favorites. Oh man, Ramsey was such a good fucker. He did so many of my shows. We did videos back in the day, before you kids had your YouTubes. We were fucking doing videos on VHSs, and he did all my videos. Like one time he played a fat breakdancing guy. Then he played like fat fucking Fight Club guy. Then he just played fat guy. I fucking love him, man. Just to see everybody coming up here and just talking about him is so special, you know. Just like, you know, never seen Brian Swinehart's porno sketch. Sometimes I wish I died, you know what I'm saying? I don't know who you two chicks are, but I want to hang out with you after the show. We should fucking Ramsey's fucking honor, right? I should stack you. We should just exchange fucking weird fucking Ramsey stories as I turn your asshole, right? I lost Willie Nelson over here, right? He's like, this is a memorial. Sons of Anarchy's loving this shit. Who knew fucking crystal meth and comedy went so well together? Well, memorials are amazing, man. It's really cool to see somebody who packed this fucking place. And I know, and I'm just gonna end. I'm not gonna talk much longer because, you know, this isn't a place to do material. This is a place to say goodbye to a friend. And I look in the back, and I see all these funny motherfuckers who wish they could be up here saying goodbye to their friend. And the fact that I have been asked to do this is such an honor, man. Because I really love Ramsey, and I miss him very much, and I wish we could have helped. But you know, that's this fucking town, man. People get very fucking isolated, and they don't want to fucking reach out. And then we fucking gotta be here talking about fucking two of his friends after the show, you know? I'll crush those tits, lady. And if you're offended by this, go fuck yourself, okay? That's my friends. I love you guys. And dude, listen, I struggle with drugs and alcohol. I isolate myself. I constantly want to fucking blow my brains out, man. Constantly. That's not where you laugh. But that's cool that you did. Talk to somebody, man. We don't need to do this all the fucking time. I'm losing too many people, man. It's really fucking rough. And I'm tired of writing fucking material for friends who died, okay? So give somebody a call. Let's not fucking do this all the time. And I just want to say thank you, everybody, for asking me to be a part of this. Thank you.
Give it up for Sam Tripoli. We'll be doing his memorial next week. Same time, same place. All right, listen, this next comedian has had numerous half-hour specials. Just a really, really funny guy. Give it up for Owen Benjamin. Let him know, Owen Benjamin.
You're going for Adam Hunter, huh? And Sam Tripoli, that was so awesome. Like in the same breath, he gave like an honest commentary about depression, and then he said he wanted to crush tits, and it was like very authentic. Randall, what's up, man? Yeah. It's good to be here. Comics. I'm realizing from this that comics are totally fucked. We're fucked up people because we all we love Ramsey Moore, and I'm in the back there, and one dude that's going up later was like, "Yo, I thought we were doing material." And I literally go, "Bro, I thought we were wearing suits." It's a fucking memorial. Why do we care? Anyway, I met Ramsey when I first moved to LA. He's probably one of the only reasons I'm still doing stand-up, to be honest with you, when he was rocking the Knitting Factory. And that was kind of like our Steve Jobs, Bill Gates fucking garage type thing, where we're like tinkering and like developing who we are as humans. And except, you know, we didn't become billionaires. But I remember my dad came to see me that the first year I was here. He was just out here. My dad's a professor, and I realized that I was fairly sheltered until I came here, because the Knitting Factory, we do an open mic, and then a bondage party would follow after. And so two of us would still be like on stage when they were setting up their like whips and shit. And I just remember being like, "What the fuck is this?" And Ramsey was like, "No, it's cool, it's cool." And I just trusted him. I was like, "This is cool. Like, it's fine. Everything's fine." And that just set a tone for my whole life. And my dad came out, and there was like probably 6 people, and he was one of them. He was sitting in the crowd, and I'm on stage doing a show, and the bondage people are coming in to set up. And my dad is wearing Velcro sneakers, and a fight breaks out, and my dad gets blood on his shoes. And he was like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, I don't know. And I just kept going. There's no end to the story. I thought I was doing material. Because the thing about Ramsey, I never met anyone, and as I watched people tonight, I've been to a fuckload of memorials and funerals and stuff, and everyone always says the same shit, but for him it was like real. Does that make sense? Like everyone's like, he was so giving, but like, that was real with him. Like everyone always says that about people that die. They're like, he was the best person. Like he really was. Like I used to always spiral about chicks. Spiral. Like I dated a girl for like 3 weeks. You remember? So one girl didn't know how to spell pizza. She thought there was a T in it. It's just super dumb. But I thought she was. Yeah, I used to live in Randall. And I thought she was just brilliant, like on a different level of like humor. And I would just go through my friends one after another and be like, bro, why won't she call back? You know, my friends would be like, she doesn't know what a phone is, you know? And I'm like, you don't understand. And then my friends would slowly start ostracizing me. But Ramsey never did. He'd be like, do you want to talk? I'm like, yeah, man. And it's like so funny when you see a dude that you've seen in such crazy situations also be the most sensitive person you know. He'd be like, do you want to talk about it? I'm like, bro, I've seen a ball gag in your mouth. You know, it's like, and I'll just do a couple more things and I'll get out of here, but I have a crippling fear of spiders. And crippling. It used to be a lot worse. And this is gonna sound really insane, but Ramsey helped me with my spider fear in a very weird way. Like one time, I was just talking to him about spiders. I'm like, man, I keep having night terrors. Like I wake up, I think I'm covered in spiders, you know? And he goes, I think spiders are kind of hot. And hear me out. And I still to this day don't know if this is a true story or not. He goes, one time I was with this girl and she used to get off by putting a tarantula on my chest and seeing the fear in my eyes. And I looked at him like, you know that look where you're like, is this real? Like, and he never broke. I think that's one of the things that helps with having a bigger face, is you can't read micro expressions. Like you would pass any fucking lie detector. You can't see like, you know, like that Paul Ekman, like, you know, like you can read emotions. Not on him. It's all just the same confident. That dude got ass. He fucked a lot of hot girls. And that's how I'm gonna close. That dude fucked. Give it up for Ramsey Moore. Good night, everybody.
Give it up for Owen Benjamin. Let him know.
Yeah.
That dude fucked. Give it up for Lancer Barber. Let him know. Keep it going.
Yeah. Thank you. Lancer Barber, everybody. Nice to see you tonight. Sorry it's under these circumstances, but I just gotta say, what do you say, BD? That was our greeting. What do you say, BD? BD was a nickname. It stood for Big Daddy. He had a quality about him, like cat on a hot tin roof, you know, Big Daddy. He used to say, y'all go on about your way now. You can have it with your business. Ramsey and I met in Chicago many years ago, mid-90s, I guess it was. He was doing Tony and Tina's wedding, and I was at Second City. Yeah, Tony and Tina's. Ramsey was Vinnie Black, the bartender. The appropriate role for him, because he could just bullshit all about everything he wanted to talk about. And he wore this blue, he wore this blue suit that he got on the South Side, like this blue pimp, big man suit from a big and tall shop, you know? And he wore that for years and years after that gig, because he looked so good. He looked so good. What do you say, BD, Big Daddy? He'd reply with a, you know, you do the sucking wind on that big man. He'd say, just knock it around, Lancy Pants. What do you say? I live with Ramsey in Burbank. Let's hear it for Burbank. We lived in Burbank, California together after we was kind of had the starts out here. We were still in our 20s, early 30s. A lot of filth of all kinds went on between us. A couple of big men in an apartment. We lived next to each other. Here's a funny story. We lived next to each other in this duplex in Burbank, California. Wayne Rada was there, and he lived with Ramsey. I lived next door to this guy named Joe Nunez, who isn't here tonight. He's another big fellow. He was in a play with Ramsey in Chicago called Fat Guys Dating. Anybody remember that? And yeah, Fat Guys Dating, and it was a friend of mine from Michigan came over with his hot new Japanese girlfriend who was from Japan, and she said, in all seriousness, is this a sumo house? Bullshit. And we said yes. I lived with this guy. How many people have seen this guy naked? Everybody's seen it. You hadn't seen it. I love that about the man. He talks about how comfortable he was, and we were kindred spirits in that way. He owned it. He owned who he was. And I saw that nutsack more than I wanted. What do I want to remember? Right now, it actually sounds comforting to remember that old hanging son of a gun that he used to flaunt around and lay all over my furniture. Oh, the pride. Flop and down the hill. I love that guy. We had a Foreman grill. Remember the Foreman grill? Filthy, just fetid with fucking, old meat juice and fats. Just keep cooking on it. Pinball pizza. Yeah, Burbank! Pinball pizza. You could get a bucket of chicken, a large pizza, and a 2-liter of Coke for $20. Yeah. Every fucking night. Me and Ramsey, tool. Those were the glory days. Ramsey was filthy, and so was I. Like I said, we had kindred spirits, and I want to play a song for him tonight. It was one that he liked. We worked on a little bit, and it was one of our favorites. So I'll play this little song. It's somewhat inspired by and a tribute to he and I our time together. Yeah. Is that good enough? Woke up Sunday afternoon, still wearing Friday's clothes. Saw a roach laying on the floor, and so I grabbed it with my toes. 'Cause bending over is overrated, so is standing up. I sat down, smoked my breakfast, and ashed into a coffee cup. Sat there about an hour, thinking about my roommate and the way he's always bitching about my lack of motivation, so I went to clean the kitchen. On the way I changed my mind, I just wasn't in the mood to deal with overflowing garbage and the smell of rotten food. 'Cause I'm a lazy ass mofo, always smoking grass, moving kinda slow. I ain't got nowhere to go, 'cause I'm a lazy ass mofo. Last night's empty beer cans, they mean a bladder full today. Gave us cause to use the John, but it seems so far away. It's when I spied my dirty dishes, which also had begun to stink. I set aside a couple crusty plates and I peed right in the sink. Well, it was time for lunch, so I grabbed a beer and a handful of Cheerios. Went back into my bedroom and I took off Friday's clothes. Threw them in my laundry pile, staying about 4 foot deep. I would've watched it too, but the clicker's broken, so I just went back to sleep. 'Cause I'm a lazy ass mofo. Always smoking grass, moving really slow. I ain't got nowhere to go. 'Cause I'm a lazy ass mofo. Lazy ass mofo. Yeah. Good night, sweet prince. I love you and I miss you. What do you say, BD? Good night. Thank you.
Give it up for Lance. Let him know. I remember you and Ramsey were in a band, right? The Diaz Brothers? Diaz Brothers. They were in a band, and it was like a parody band. And you had got booked at Dublin's, which at the time was the hottest club in LA. And they bombed so bad that Ahmed said, if you guys don't get better as a crowd, I'm bringing back the Diaz Brothers. And everybody went fucking nuts after that. It was awesome. Well, listen, we are going to open up the show to anybody who wants to say something about Ramsey to you guys. I know Dinah, right? First person coming up is beautiful Dinah Leffert. Let her know. Dinah Leffert.
Yeah, Dinah.
Hey guys, I really didn't write anything, I'm just gonna talk from my heart. Ramsey's fucking with me so hard right now, like I just completely drowned my purse with water. But I don't think I was the one that did it. I feel like he's fucking with me so hard. I don't know if you can feel his presence here, but he's definitely here. I thought you and Ramsey were brothers when I first met you guys. You remember me? Yeah, for sure. I'm really proud to say that that he was a friend. I got to work with him a bunch of times. I was the cock zombie drenched in blood that you might have seen earlier in the beginning. That marked the end of my comedy career, but really the beginning. It marked the end of my acting career, is what I meant to say, and the beginning of my comedy career, because there's no way that anyone would ever take me seriously after Cock Zombies. But I met classy Lauren Brenner in a makeup chair right next to me, and I don't know if you guys know about how unselective he was with friends, but she became one of my best friends. I know her as Trashy Lauren Brenner. She's a fantastic comedian, and he brought us together. I'm in the Lenny Bruce experiment. I got to kiss him on screen. The best on-screen kiss ever. I still have a really creepy few messages from Ramsey on my old phone, and I'm not going to play it for you right now because it'd be really creepy, but I'll tell you that he said on a few of them, even after I told him for sure I'm not the girl in the porn with the voice that sounds like me. That is not me. I've never done a porn. I've never done a voiceover for porn. And it wasn't just him, just like for the record, Mike Sirkin. I have never done porn and I've never done voiceover. It was just so, I know it sounded like me because you wanted it to sound like me. We listen, our brain works in mysterious ways. I've been in complete denial that Ramsey's actually dead. Like, it's really hard to get. Like, I've never been in a denial like this before. It's just too weird because he's too young and too close to my inner circle. and really is somebody that was there. Like when I auditioned for Lenny Bruce Experiment, he put me through a really crazy like hoops to get through the part. That was, I know, that's a laugh of recognition from the director, because I'm sure that before they made me scream like a poltergeist and do all this crazy shit, I had already gotten the part. But they made me continually do all these crazy things to get, like, besides fucking anybody, but like actually making myself humiliated in ways that I know was just for Ramsey's amusement. It was just for his amusement. I don't know really what it's gonna take, but I do know that because of the denial, it makes me feel like there really is this like these two worlds, you know, this like physical world and then the spiritual world, and I'm just too sensitive to energy to not really believe that his energy's here, that he's formless now and actually free from the pain of being in such a heavy body. That's a really heavy like feeling to have every day of your everyday, and it's very painful. And I'm happy for you, Ramsey, that you're in just free flow spirit in a place where there is no time, and we'll all be back together again. And I'm just so proud to know such a good person, and thanks for listening, you guys.
Dinah Leffert, make sure you guys Google cock zombies when you get home. Let's see. This next, one of Ramsey's best friends and fellow bandmate is going to come up here and say a couple words. Don Schweiger, let him know. Don Schweiger.
Hello. Adam, everybody, Adam. Wow. Here we are, since March 16th, and here we are, waiting a few months for this, and you know, it's been said a lot already tonight. It's hard to believe he's gone, but he'll always be here. He's such a strong character and just a pillar. Someone to talk. He's like water, air, land, rain. Pretty cool stuff. And then he never gave up on his friends. He was always, you know, and always such a diplomat. And just a good guy to be around, and he knew how to enjoy life, just like everything, just the little things. Some would get bored looking out at the mountains. You know, people get bored of that. Some people can't do that, but he was good at that, and he was just all around. I'll never forget him. I met him in the late '90s in Second City, and he played. He didn't do it very often, but he'd like talk to you on the phone. After a while, if you wanted to get off the phone for a while, like he would see how long he could keep you on the phone. Just like, well, all right, I'm gonna go get something to eat and this and that, and then he'll just like say out some random thing to continue the conversation. And I'd be like, yeah, and he'd just see how long he'd keep you on. Little things like that were great, you know. Yeah, I didn't prepare that much to, you know. You think about it. I know you guys know him. You think about him a lot. I do. He's just crazy. He's always going to be there, and he's here now, and he's going to be, you know, he's to the next level, and we'll catch up with him later. So it'll be really cool. So I'm glad I can come out here and make it out here to this event. And thank everyone, all his good friends. Everyone that put this together. I didn't know anything about the event until today, as far as the lineup and all the good things people have put in the preparation for this. So God bless Ramsey Moore, and yeah, his family and everyone else that had the privilege to know him.
And you, Don.
Thank you.
Don Schweiger, let him know. This next comedian is one of the funniest people alive. He's been on Conan and Comedy Central and numerous TV shows. Please give it up for...
Thanks, guys. I just want to take 30 seconds of your time. I didn't know Ramsey as well as everybody in this room. I thought I knew him, but I didn't. And as I was listening to everybody, I was like, I don't know him really well. You know, the first thing I realized is I gotta lose some fucking weight. Because if he didn't make it, I don't think I'm gonna make it. I didn't mean to bring everybody down, really. I'll be fine, I'll be okay. Well, I just want to say one thing that always interested me about, because when I did one thing he did called Barry Burbank. I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but he did it was a character where he was a heavyset guy who trained people to lose weight. And that was very, you know what I mean? Ramsey always had ideas, he was always pushing, and he kept asking me to be in projects, and he asked me to do a play he did, and I was really poor, and I said, does it pay? And he said, no, and I said I couldn't do it. And I hadn't talked to him since then, and I felt really bad about that. One thing that always interested me about him is that he, as a stand-up comic, I never saw him do the same joke twice. You know what I mean? If you saw Ramsey before, it was like watching Ralph May without all that laughter shit the whole year. But he didn't want to, I don't think he cared that much about succeeding as a comic. And he was enjoying himself more. And I asked him once at Stand Up New York, I was like, why don't you tell the same joke and practice it and make it tighter and better? He's like, I don't know, I get bored with that. Like, he really enjoyed what we comics forget to do, which is enjoy our job. And he enjoyed it every time he performed. I just wanted to say I'm gonna miss him. It was nice to meet you guys.
That's true, Brian. I don't think Ramsey had any jokes. I think he just wanted to talk to people. This next person was a very dear part of Ramsey's life. I know Ramsey had a huge place in his heart for you. Give it up for Amber Blondin. Let her know.
I'm not a comedian. I think of myself as comedy adjacent, and it's all Ramsey's fault. He found me in Hollywood. I just moved there. I thought, I'm gonna screw my mom, screw everything. I'm gonna move out to Hollywood. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make my own path. And I had no clue what I was doing. Hollywood was about to eat me up, completely demolish me. Everything. 18 years old, just bright-eyed, had no clue. He rescued me time and time again, but it was through all kinds of ways. He showed up when I needed him. He would take me out to restaurants sometimes, and he knew I would get really anxious. I'm anxious right now. And that's why I'm doing this, because this is what he would love. The first time I'm ever up here, maybe never again. I'm just freaking out because it's for him. And he would go to restaurants, and he knew I was uncomfortable if people were talking, about something inappropriate, maybe a little gross. And so he would specifically, we'd go out to the Newsroom Cafe was one of our favorite spots, Baby Blues as well. And he would just he'd start a normal conversation, he would troll me. Or he'd lead me in, I was like, oh yeah, I'm very into this. And then by the end of it, he'd go, and then look at this goiter. And he would start describing this disgusting, gross thing just to gross out people around me, just because it would make me start going like this. I'd look around, just totally messing with me. And it was the best to just be there for him. I kind of felt like maybe his Robin to his Batman. Sometimes we'd hang out, we'd smoke, and he would say these funny things, and then in the morning he wouldn't remember them. And I'm just like, oh dude, you were so funny last night. So I have OCD, and he helped me a lot with that. And so I just got on my little notebook, my highlighters, I had a purse with all these little pens of every color, and we would just smoke, and he would say something, and I'd write it down. He'd say something that was kind of related, I'd keep the same color. And then I'd write something else, or he'd say something else, I was like, oh, that's totally fucking unrelated. So I'd pull out a different color pen, draw in the corner, put a weird face, and a frowny face with a tongue. I'd be like, you made me feel this way last night. He's like, oh yeah, I remember that. And he would work it in. So it was really, really special. And he taught me how to survive in this town. I'm a bartender, KJ. I work with comedians. I don't ever want to be a comedian, but I want to support people the way he supported people. And everything I try to do in this town, I try to do it the way he would. He's kind. He always lifts everybody up, and I love you guys because he loves you guys.
Nice job, Amber. So what do we learn, people? Ramsey like crazy chicks. This next comedian has a show. I saw him on a show with Ellen DeGeneres, where he's hosting the show and Ellen is judging furniture. Please give it up for Jay Montempire. Let him know, Jay Montempire.
Hey everybody. I didn't plan on coming up here, but I'm glad I'm coming up here. Ramsey was a really special guy in my life. When I moved out to LA, it's tough. I came out from Boston, and just, it's tough to make friends out here. And I every time I think of Ramsey, I just think of whenever I walked in a room, if he was there, I knew he was there because no matter how many people were there, he just yelled, "Jay Montempire! Jay Montempire's here, everyone!" He's so good. Look, I am fucking here. And he'd always be in the corner, just fucking. He was like the Godfather. Like, just people came to him, Come on over. I bring him food. I don't know. I always bring him food. I don't know why. I'm like, I got it now and later. I don't know if you want it. Here you go. Thanks, Jay Montempire, everyone. And I'd walk away. He was like, this is tough, man. When he passed, it was like I feel like we always kind of knew that this was going to happen, but we never believed that it was actually, gonna happen. He was a guy that gave me some of my first spots at the Knitting Factory with him and Owen, and he was always so supportive. Even if I put my whole out everything there and got no reactions, he's like, "You really did it, Montempire. You keep with your guns. Jay Montempire, everyone." And then I would feel good. He was like the ghost of Christmas fucking future to me. He would just pop up randomly in my life when I needed something and I didn't know I needed it. He would just like show up. I remember, I posted this on Facebook, but one of these, I was having a yard sale and it was a blistering hot day. It was ridiculous, and I knew it was gonna suck. I was gonna be there for fucking 5 hours selling, underwear or some shit like that. And I just posted a picture of me, like, yard sale. 10 minutes later, a car pulls up, and I was like, that can't be fucking Ramsey, but I knew it was Ramsey because it was like scraping the pavement, I was like, get the fuck out of here, it's Ramsey. Half an hour later, he makes it across the street to me. By that time, I had a lawn chair set out for him and shit, He's like, "I'll be there in a second. I got one more lane. I'm gonna be there." And he, within 10 minutes of me posting that, he sat down with me and he stayed the entire yard sale with me. Just shooting the shit, we're smoking weed. I kept, I'd go into my house and smoke weed and I realized, he's not gonna make it up those stairs. I better bring it to him. So we're just smoking in public. And he was just telling me yarn after yarn, and it was amazing. And then when he passed, I really missed him. But I go back and I do this all the time. I've been doing this since he passed. I've been going on and I've been looking at his sermons from the Fat Buddha. And I don't know if you guys have watched all those, but do yourself a favor and go back and watch those things, because so much fun. And I'll say one thing that sticks with me. He said, and it just sticks with me. He said, "God, I love my shitty life. It may not be perfect, but it's mine, guys." So, guys, Ramsey Moore.
Jay Montempire, everyone. Jay Montempire. Next comedian who wants to say something. He's a writer, actually. He's a big writer. He was the head writer of the Justin Bieber roast, as well as lots of other great shows. Give it up for John Moore. Let him know, John Moore.
Hey everybody. I remember the first time I met Ramsey. I thought he was a food truck. Where's B-Swine? Still here? Where you at, B-Swine? Dude, that poem tonight? That was beautiful. I have not heard art like that since I was at the Lincoln Center. and they had recharge for you to take that. Ramsey worked for me. I hired Ramsey as a PA for me, and I think it was probably the first office job Ramsey had. And there were certain conversations I would have to have with Ramsey on occasion. I'd come into my office. Ramsey, it would be nice if you wore shoes. Got it. Totally got it. Won't happen again. Next day. Hey Ramsey, you can't watch porn. This happens all the time with him. We all know how much Ramsey loved to act, and I can't believe no one has brought up his greatest role ever. When he works in the parking lot attendants. Ramsey, he's Ramsey. What are you going to say? Ramsey's boss, Mr. Hotus. He was the guy that oversaw several of the parking lots. And he thought Ramsey was retarded. And Ramsey went with that. Almost a year. And it was brilliant. Like, Mr. Hotus would bring the lawnmower by because it was the parking attendant's job to mow the lawn in the parking lot. And this is how brilliant the guy was. He sees Mr. Hotus coming with the lawnmower, and he hides behind the parking, little booth. And he's like, "Oh, Mr. Hotus, electronics scare me." Mr. Hotus would send somebody else to mow the lawn. And the detail that he went to with Mr. Hotus, he got a Christmas card, and there was some money in it. And this is great. Ramsey opens the card in front of him, looks at it, thanks him, and just throws it away. I was like, no, there's money in there, there's money in there. Ramsey knew it was there, it was just part of the process. Ramsey did eventually get busted. And it's because Mr. Hotus was watching Jimmy Kimmel one day. I don't know quite how to close this because I didn't know I was speaking tonight. But let's give Ramsey. Cheers. One last cheers.
Let them know, people. Forgot about Mr. Hogan. John Moore, funny dude. Next comedian coming up. We have two more comics. This next comic, I worked with him on Kamikaze Comedy. He's a hilarious comic. He's also written and produced so much stuff, and he's a funny dude. He worked at Ramsey on Punk'd. Please give it up for John Huck. Let him know. John Huck.
Hey guys, so I just want to say real quick, is Jennifer Dumont here? Hey, so Jennifer used to be casting person on Punk'd, and this was like the good one. I don't know if you remember the good one. Back when the show meant something. When it was legit? Alright. But so, we needed somebody, I can't even remember the first bit that he came in on, but she was like, yeah, I got this guy, no problem. I'm like, and I didn't know her that well, so I was like, yeah, you got a guy, who's your guy? And I was like worried that this guy wasn't going to understand the show or what was going on. And whatever he did, he came in and he killed it because he was used probably like 40 times on that show. In like the first 4, 5, 6 seasons, he was in whatever, multiple bits. And he was great. You never really had to tell him, like he understood. And if you saw everything else and heard everyone else's stories, especially that last story, he obviously liked fucking with people. So he was so natural, it like punked it. Even when I had to do it, I was like, I don't really like bothering people. He's like, well, then you're not going to be good at this. Like, you're right. But he was really good, and like I said, multiple bits. The one story I can remember is we were supposed to. The bit was like he was supposed to be in a corner eating, and then at a restaurant, like a sushi place, like piles of food, and then eventually he's supposed to choke, pretend to choke. And the mark was like this, supposed to be like a tinier, like a littler person, right? And they were supposed to try to go over and help him, and that was going to be the scene. Well, the mark fell out last minute, and Ramsey didn't know that because he wasn't on set yet. So I was standing there, we're waiting, trying to get somebody else in there and do the bit, but Ramsey shows up, and he's like, hey, how you doing? I go, yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this because I don't think the person's going to show. And he goes, okay, well, I didn't eat for like the last 2 hours preparing for the bit. So, and it was a functioning restaurant, so I was like, oh yeah, just go up and order whatever you want, man, no problem. And then I go about working and doing whatever I have to do. And my buddy was playing a waiter. He comes downstairs, Matt Dittman, and he comes downstairs and goes, hey man, I'm not being a tattletale or anything, but Ramsey just ordered like the left side of the menu. And I was like, yeah, no, you can have whatever he wants, it's cool. He's like, no, I know, I'm just telling you, the entire left side of the menu is like a real expensive sushi place. Like, okay, I guess MTV buys a couple meals. But what I loved about him was that immediately when I met him, he was like, oh, you're a comic? I was like, you know, you can say that, I guess. I try. And he was like, oh, have you ever been in New York? And I was like, no. And without even, there wasn't probably like a day or two that went by before he puts me in touch with Wayne Rada, who's like, oh yeah, you're gonna be in New York? And I wasn't. I was like, shit, I gotta get a plane ticket, I gotta get a hotel. Like, no one was paying me to go, but I wanted to go. I've never been to the city at that point. I was like, I wanted to see it, and I wanted to do stand-up there. And he put me in touch with Wayne, and Wayne, no shit, was just like, yeah, okay. And this is at a time when I couldn't get booked here because people that knew me were like, can you send me a tape? And I was like, what? And this guy across the country was like, yeah, if Ramsey says you're cool, yeah, come by. And I was like, okay. And so many people like blew smoke up my ass, you know, and still do every day, but like Ramsey was like, no, you wanna go out there? I'll get you out there. And no shit, I went out there and Wayne put me on, I was like, yeah, you need some work, but come back to the late show, it'll be fine. But was really cool to me, and I was always very grateful for that because and the Knitting Factory especially, I wouldn't mention that, but he would put me up there, you know, just from working with me for a couple days, like, yeah, come on, do your thing. And obviously, my thing wasn't always hilarious. It was a lot of times not funny. Here's what I really wanted to come up here and say. Sorry. The last thing I worked with Ramsey on was a show called Bail Me Out for MTV as a hidden camera show, putting friends to like a best friend test, right? Which ironically, he would have won every time, and he would have won all that money, which is clear after hearing people speak. But within the bit that he is in, it's going to be a 1 hour special on MTV. It's going to air, I don't have an exact air date, but keep your eyes out and I'll post it on Facebook. But should be July, August, I'm hoping. 1 hour special called Bail Me Out, and Ramsey plays a bouncer in it. And at the end, I got MTV to put on like a dedicated to or in memory of. So watch that if you can, and all right, thank you very much.
Give it up for John Huck. All right, our final comedian. He's one of the biggest comics in the country right now. He's a hilarious dude. He's tours all over the world. Give it up for Big J Okerson. Let him know, Big J Okerson.
How about for Adam Hunter? Come on, this is not an easy thing to host. What an event. How about for the whole show so far? I mean, holy shit. What a show. He's super proud of this shit right now. Ramsey's a bouncer? I don't know. Good friend, but it's an odd fucking casting choice. What's he gonna do? Just run away from the problem. He'll never catch you. That's where we're gonna draw the line. Sorry, I wasn't aware of Ramsey's long-time effort of cross-country running. Here we are. Same trip he said he wanted to cope up his big fat tits. There was a standing ovation. I acknowledge he's probably not that athletic. Shit. I think it takes a death to bring my two brothers and father together. Pop, I missed you at Thanksgiving. Oh, you guys, this fucking eating team? You're probably all a little at fault if I'm being honest. Shut up. Diana was up here. That was, how much do girls want to believe in mysticism and afterlife and ghosts and all that shit? She's like, Ramsey's fucking with me. I just spilled water on my purse. How benign of a reason is that? Oh, I just missed a step. That must be around Ramsey, you cocksucker. I spilled water on your purse. Oh, I can make these fat jokes because me and Ramsey were fat friends. And I mean that in every possible way. I also have that shirt. That's exactly where he bought that thing. Casual male, big and tall t-shirt section. Mine was a 3X. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying. He was a good dude, man. He would let me crash with him when I came out to LA, which was an odd experience there. There's nothing that a fat guy likes more than having a guy a little fatter than him to be like, whoa, dude, you gotta watch yourself. I'm only eating fucking 2 Jack in the Box burgers and 3 tacos. You got 4 tacos there. Slow it down, Jesse Owens, as all your friends seem to think you are. What about track in the morning? He had a couch in his bedroom. And that's where he goes, you're gonna sleep here. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And he moved like, pizza boxes and a bunch of shit off the couch, and I laid on it. And then he goes, we're gonna crash a little early for my tape. In New York, we go to bed a little bit later out here, but there's no, sun and fucking tits walking around. So we stay in bed, and like, he goes to bed kind of early, and I was just wide awake, and he goes, yeah, because I hope it doesn't bother you, man. I gotta put on this like tranquil, like the sounds of fucking like a babbling brook or something to go to bed. And he puts it on and it falls asleep immediately and snores like a fucking, I thought it was like a puma getting ready to attack me over my fucking face. Is there a fucking coyote on the other side of that brook? Because oh, he had a fridge in his room. I had such fat envy for that. It was great to see that he had a lot of friends. Older Johnny Depp. This half Indian, half werewolf spirit guy. Ramsey, you must go on a great journey. Did you teach a snake charming class? How do you know Ramsey? Through Don, okay, so he's a friend of a friend. He fucking showed up, dude. That's fucking badass. Sweet leather vest, and I mean that. As one long-haired guy to another. Don't you wish you could wear a leather vest like that, dude? Yeah, we can't though. You gotta get the gray hair. Fucking. There's a Sam Elliott on Dating a Girl Who Has a Deformed Kid look about you. I don't know what you're owing. I didn't direct the movie. Oh, that movie exists. Oh, shit. I'll tell you the thing I told Ramsey that made him laugh more than anything, because one thing I said, fat dudes, we all fucking bomb. We know the plight of all the same shit, right? Getting on a fucking airplane, and just fucking how awful those things are. We all share these similar things, and I think sexual issues as a fucking fat guy, we all share and know, and I made him giggle like a fucking girl telling him a story about the first time I ever filmed myself having sex with my ex-girlfriend, who was a tiny fucking chick.
And the video is just all over the place. Because it's, you know, she was a hot little tiny thing that had, I don't know why she was with me, and the video starts off super sexy with just her on the couch, just writhing around, being very sexy. And then I just come into the frame. Like, before I even get in the frame, you could, like, you see the water glass start shaking, like there's troubles in his eyes. And you see my eyeball real big. And I just take off in the air. I keep crashing in. I was trying to be funny, and I went up in the air, and you see underneath me for a second the look of like, oh shit, on her face. Like, remember the pedestrians in Independence Day, like when the spaceship was coming over? Like, it was too late to go back. I was mid-flight. I keep crashing down around top of her, and then I went to fucking work. And really, at that point in the video, just looking, I was fucking a couch. You couldn't even see it. Just a little tiny socks coming out of my shoulder. Wheelbarrowing a fucking thing of feet. And then I filmed her blowing me, and this is what fucking got him. This is where everyone can fucking relate. I used to think my little tiny ex-girlfriend gave horrible, horrible blowjobs. That's what I thought. And then I fucking put the camera, when I was filming it, I started filming her blowing me from the side. And then I watched it later. Turns out it's not her fault. I don't have a big dick, but I have a big fat stomach. And every time she gets my dick near her mouth, my fucking belly pushes her head away. So I'm trying. I'm sorry. You gotta flank me from the side, baby. You can't come headbutt me right in the gunt and fupa. I can't wait to see all you guys next year at the Brian Scalaro Memorial. According to him, by his trajectory. By his trajectory. Oh shit. The two girls up here made me fucking so sad. What was Ramsey's other friend's name? Was Diana Wells? I felt so bad for her. Yeah, she was so fucking adorable, wasn't she? I gotta tell you what, if you have a 500-pound guy help you cure your OCD, you're both lost. That's what you are both lost. Can you help me to not do things compulsively and way too much? I gotcha. Let me get my whistle and sweatsuit and follow your ass around. I'll tell you before I get out of here, literally one of the funniest things I've ever been a part of is that a lot of us know Patrice O'Neal, right? Patrice O'Neal passed away. Patrice O'Neal, before he passed away, in the last few years of his life, he started making a little money and he bought a house. And he got his furniture in there, and the place was being worked on. They just built it, the steps and everything were brand new. And he invited Ramsey over. And he had him fucking sit on everything. And I was like, what are you doing, Patrice? He goes, if it works for that nigga, it'll work for me. I love you, Ramsey. So everybody puts together Wayne and Mike. Adam, you doing fucking, this is awesome, dude. Take care, bro.
Big J, let him know. Okay. It's coming to the end. Wayne, Mike Jaglin, and Allison all want to come up here and say something to you guys. And that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Hi everyone, my name is Wayne Breda. I'm a dear friend to Ramsey Moore. One last round of applause for Ramsey, please. I don't want to go too heavy here because Jay did an amazing job. All the comedians did an amazing job. Actually, let's do one more round of applause for all the comments and people who spoke. Thank you all very, very, very much. I really appreciate it. I'm very grateful. So thank you. When I first met Ramsey, it was in 1998. We were both level A improvers at Second City in Chicago. And we got along immediately. I was a drug addict and alcoholic, and he was an alcoholic, so we connected on that level. And I told Ramsey that, dude, if you move from Dallas to Chicago,
I realized I wasn't a great improver, but he was a star. So I'm like, hey dude, I'll produce your shit if you move here. You be the star, I'll be the producer. And the guy, literally 3 weeks later, picked up all of his stuff and moved to Chicago. And from that point on, we were the best of friends. And I lost my very best friend. And all of you being here tonight has made all this work that Mike and Allison and Brandon had done for you guys to enjoy. And it's very special to me, and I have a one last memento, one last goodbye to a dear, dear friend. So on that note, I'd like to introduce Mike and let him say a few words as well. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Allison. Thank all of you. Ramsey meant a lot because he was a lot. He was a person that cared about everyone and everything. And in life, not even also in this town, you don't meet many people like that. And as we get caught in life, the hustle and bustle, going from A to B to Z, you don't tend to realize the true people that actually mean something in your life. And Ramsey Moore was one of those people. He was one of those people that was there when I got a DUI and was in jail. He was there with my mom. They bailed me out of jail. And I went through my 20s with Ramsey by my side. And, you know, it really hurts me personally because I wasn't as close with him as I was earlier. But he will always be a part of me, and he'll always be a part of all of you. And I just want to thank you all.
In some ways, I wish I had something really divine to say, but I don't particularly feel divine. What I do think is important is that I've had several weeks now to kind of contemplate the life of my brother and different phases of his life, and that last phase of his life was not the best phase of his life. But I choose not to focus on it because the reality of the sum of the total was certainly not that good. And what I think now is, what would he want me to say to everybody else here? Okay. Live bold, live strong, do what is true to your heart, be good to yourself, be good to those that are around you. Because ultimately, it doesn't matter how much fame or fortune you have. It's who have you touched and how have you touched him. So I appreciate everybody here because you touched me, because he touched you, and we touched each other. Okay? So I love you. Says the semi-celibate antithesis of my brother. I will say this. I was very afraid at the beginning of getting on my brother's laptop. You know, it's like, oh my God, welcome to this world. And maybe he knew I was coming. But he was very good. But I found it most ironic that I flipped open his Facebook thing and I looked through kind of some of the last conversations he might have had with people. And the one that I started off with was a chick that he wrote multiple times saying, "I want you." And I would say that, good. I'm happy that he wanted her. I don't know if he ever got her, but whatever. I'm happy that he wanted her. But live life, love life, okay? And live it as largely and as fully as you can. Because you never know when it's going to end. And leave your mark. And don't be afraid to do it, and take the steps that you have. Because frankly, our lives are not that my brother did all that he did. In my mind, he was a tremendous success. Okay? I think we've got a hard out of here soon, so thank you guys. Good night. And if I haven't spoken to you, please say hello.
One last thank you, by the way, Kozlowski, Randall, thank you both for being here. One last thank you to Rita, Jay, and the whole Improv team for their love and support of Ramsey Moore, and their support 100% through the process. So thanks, good luck. All you guys, thank you very much. Good night. Long live Ramsey Moore.